Well, hello. Great Thursday morning to you. I trust that your day is off to a good start. The weather's beautiful. It's nice, a little cool, but crisp and peaceful and nice. It's a beautiful day. And so I hope that you are enjoying the best of God's blessings today. You know, today I'm thinking about compassion. But before I get into that, I just want to think about or reflect on last night's Wednesday night prayer, praise, and fellowship and Bible study here at Highlands. You know, when that group of people gets together on Wednesday night, it really is always just a time of loving encouragement. Of all the churches and Christians I've been around and a part of in my life, there have been many times that I've been blessed to see people who truly love one another, but there's just something about this particular fellowship of people that come out here at Highlands on Wednesday. It's just a blessed time. And I encourage you that if you don't attend it or haven't been with us in a while, come and join us. It's a wonderful time to be encouraged. We had a great time in fellowship and in the Lord last night. But today I'm thinking about compassion. And while I was thinking about that, I remembered a story where a pastor had been invited over to one of his church members' houses for dinner. And there were going to be some other church members there as well. And it was going to be just a time of fellowship. And the evening was going very well. They were just enjoying having conversation. And as dinner was being served, they were all sitting down. But the pastor noticed that this couple who invited him there had a 5-year-old daughter. And they seemed to be pretty strict on her. They just seemed to be pointing out everything that she was, doing wrong. And he assumed that they were wanting her to be on her best behavior because, the pastor was visiting. And they were just, again, over the top in reprimanding her for every little thing. And during the dinner, this 5-year-old girl, as 5-year-olds tend to do, knocked over her glass of tea on the table. And she looked up in absolute horror, wondering what her parents were going to do. And the pastor noticed that the parents' faces were indignant with anger. So before they could even respond to the little girl, he tipped over his glass of tea as well. And there were 2 other couples there sitting at the table as well. Noticing what the pastor did and taking his lead, they knocked over their glasses of tea. And before long, the parents themselves knocked over their glasses of tea. And it turned into just a moment of joyous laughter. And all of the anger turned into joy. And all of this was because the pastor felt compassion for a 5-year-old little girl. I think it's a good story. It reminds me of the compassion of Jesus in so many ways. Jesus was very compassionate. As a matter of fact, let me read a passage of scripture to you out of Matthew chapter 9, verse 35 and following. It says, "And Jesus was going about all the cities and all the villages, teaching in their synagogues and proclaiming the gospel of the kingdom and healing every kind of disease and every kind of sickness. And seeing the multitudes," the many, many people, "he felt compassion for them because they were distressed and downcast like sheep without a shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, 'The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Therefore beseech the Lord of the harvest to send out workers into the harvest.'" Now, why would the Lord want other people to go out into the harvest? He saw that the work was great. Well, it was very simple. There were hurting people everywhere. In the multitudes of people, Jesus saw their hurting and their pain, and he felt compassion for them, and he wanted the people that were following him to have compassion for others as well. There are hurting people all around us, all around our church, all around the community that we live in, all around our neighborhood, all around the entire city of Huntsville, and all around the United States and the world. People are hurting. People have needs. And oftentimes they feel like sheep without a shepherd. They feel like they have no one to turn to. And what a blessed thing it would be if Christian people would just open their eyes to see the multitudes as Jesus did. Just be aware, cognizant of the opportunity to bless someone's life simply by showing compassion toward them. You know, compassion doesn't always have to be some practical thing that you do where you reach into your wallet or something like that. Compassion could really be just sitting and listening with someone, or offering a hug, or praying with someone at just the right time. Oftentimes, people just need a good listening ear. And there are a couple of truths, 3 truths that I know about compassion that I want to share. And that is, number 1, that compassion requires being with people and looking for needs. I mean, you can't minister to people, you can't bless people if you're not around people. You need to be out and about, involved with people, and then looking for the opportunity to reflect Christ to them. Secondly, compassion requires identifying with people's situations and the needs that they feel, or the pains that they feel. You know, it doesn't take much for us to identify with other people's pains, and the reason for that is because we ourselves have had pain in our lives. And we can just simply share with them the ways that God has brought us through certain hurts and pains and circumstances in our life. He's a loving God and a compassionate God. And He's shown compassion toward us, and we can certainly show how we receive blessing from that compassion from the Lord. And then lastly, the third thing is that compassion really just leads to action, that you will actually do something about the pain and the needs that you see people have. So let's reflect about compassion today. Let's think about hurting people and how we may be able to bless their lives with an act of compassion. Just food for thought. I hope to see you soon. This is Tony Guthrie. All the best.